Hello, I'm Raven from Life as Raven, and this is the first of many Rotting in Peace chats. If you live with the struggle of chronic bed rotting and you need a way out, I'm here to help you. But first, we need to talk about my main philosophy, which is called Rotting in Peace. And before we can start talking about rotting in peace, we need to talk about what is bed rotting in general. I'm also going to be putting a few things on my face throughout this time, so don't mind me. Okay, so anyway, back to what I was saying, bed rotting. Let's define it. Let's talk about what it even is. So bed rotting came around on the internet not too long ago, and it's a term for something that you might have experienced before, maybe even chronically. It's basically a state of being where you're in your bed and you're laying down, but not particularly for the sake of alleviating your sleepiness or tiredness. In fact, in a way, it might be making you even more sleepy or tired. There's something draining about it, something that puts you in a state of turmoil and doom. You might be neglecting other things that you need to be doing, like cleaning up your room or cleaning up your house. Oh, this is what I just used and I'm on to this next. Or you might be neglecting your hygiene for a long time, like skipping brushing your teeth or skipping taking a shower. Or you might be neglecting your health, like staying sedentary and not moving or exercising at all, or even something like using the restroom. You might have to pee and you might be physically capable of getting up and going to pee, but something in you is just keeping you down to your bed and you're holding your pee for a really long time until you absolutely can't take it, and that's having a negative toll on your body, but you feel like you can't stop bed rotting, and so the cycle just perpetuates. On the outside, one might think that you're just being lazy, especially if you're able-bodied and you're physically capable of carrying these things out. On the outside, other people, or maybe even yourself, might spread some shame about that. But what I think about bed rotting is that it's actually tied to something way deeper than what you can see on the surface. So I don't think it's just simply due to laziness. I think it's typically due to very deep issues, emotional and mental issues that maybe you haven't healed from, or that you need to work on, or you haven't even addressed yet. Some examples of people that I find who struggle with bed rotting, myself included, are people with ADHD, people with depression, people that are grieving the loss of a loved one, people that are going through a breakup, people that are undergoing certain types of health issues like chronic pain or rigorous treatments for an illness, maybe people that have gone through injuries. There are just so many different reasons that end up leading us all to this one place that we feel stuck in. And I think these things are often the source of why we all may be feeling this way of bed rotting. And the problem with bed rotting is that it takes over your life. Like, you're no longer in control of your life. Your bed rotting is in control of your life. Your bed rotting might be a form of procrastination that you use, and then you're always running late to wherever you need to be. And so you're always rushed and stressed every single day of your life because you can't stop bed rotting. Or maybe your bed rotting is holding you back from your dreams. Maybe you're not studying like you could because you just choose bed rotting all the time, and then you're getting really bad grades because you're not studying, and that's going to affect your career projections because you need your school grades for the next level of school. So then you'll have to retake some classes later on to get better grades because you spent the original time bed rotting. Or maybe your health is getting worse because you're not exercising because you're bed rotting instead. There are just so many ways that bed rotting just becomes the villain in your life and makes you live life in turmoil. And that's my general scope and impression of bed rotting. But now it's time to move on to my philosophy of rotting in peace. So what is rotting in peace? So as your friendly fellow neighborhood bed rotter, I too have gone through, this is what I'm using next. I too have gone through many cycles of trying to improve myself and trying to be productive and change my mentality and hustle and grind my way into getting my life together. I have attempted this many times over the years and it just has not worked. And at some point I was just done. I was like, okay, I need to stop doing these things over and over and over again and getting the same result. That's like the definition of insanity, right? So I decided that I needed a different approach to get over all this bed rotting that I'm doing. And thus Rotting in Peace was born. And the concept behind Rotting in Peace is that you're not just going to cold turkey give up bed rotting, but what you're going to do instead is figure out how to make bed rotting work for you versus against you, and finding ways to bed rot correctly. So you can still have bed rotting in your life, because in a way it is comforting and entertaining. Sometimes it can be something to look forward to, but I think there are good ways and bad ways to carry it out. And rotting in peace is all about the good ways to carry it out. To say the least, rotting in peace is basically when you find ways to handle things in your life and to get a grasp on things in your life before you dive into your bed rotting session. So you can still bed rot, but you don't have to neglect the things in your life that you need to take control of. And this brings us to my next point of how do you rot in peace? A huge part of this is in your mind. This is where so many of our problems are. Even though our external circumstances are still things that should be acknowledged and validated and worked towards to aim for improvement, there's also a whole other side of our reality, and that's what's in our head. And thinking about it from that perspective has helped me shift my life in such an amazing way, even though my external circumstances haven't exactly changed. Okay, so how to rot in peace? The first thing is to readjust your mind. How do I explain this? You need to have a conversation with yourself and come to the realization that your mind is so powerful, that your mind is flexible, that your mind is adaptable. You need to believe that everything you know is not all there is to know. Every way you have been is not the only way to be, and you are capable of being different. You are capable of doing different things, and you are capable of thinking different thoughts, and all of those things have the power to change your life in ways that favor you. That's just so important to realize, first of all. The second aspect of rotting in peace is learning how to master your mind. So in the next coming videos, we are going to go over this in very specific ways, but generally I'll explain some things to you. So basically, you need to know how your mind works, and generally your brain will work to keep you safe. And part of your brain thinking it's safe is feeling comfortable, which can actually be negative for us. So basically, your brain has a need. Maybe you're craving dopamine in some form, and the easiest, quickest way to access it that takes the least amount of energy is to scroll on your phone for hours. And while it gets you that dopamine, it's like cheap dopamine, and it is addictive, and it leads to you not exercising. The light does things to your eyes that messes up your sleep. Basically, just living your life rolling through social media and letting that control you instead of you limiting it yourself. It feels comfortable. It fills a need. So basically, you need to learn ways to access dopamine in ways that aren't toxic to you. Another thing is that when you're bed rotting, a lot of times it's because you struggle to find momentum. You need to tap into your mind and trick it into gaining momentum. And there's so many different ways to do that. But generally, that's my second mindset point about rotting in peace. And my third point about rotting in peace is converting your mindset to actions. So it starts in your mind, but the goal is to let that ripple from your mind out into the material world, and your actions should be following suit with these new thoughts you have created. So basically, you can do all three of those things and still bed rot at the end of the day. But while you're bed rotting this way, you are going to feel so good. It's not even going to feel like rotting, but what I want to do is kind of rebrand the word rotting so that it's something that serves you rather than something that tears you down. Oh, and this is next. This is my favorite product in the whole world. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a little introduction about rotting in peace and why it's something that just saved my life, and I think it can save your life too. It's absolutely incredible what you are capable of and what your mind is capable of. So if you came across this video and you chronically bed rot, I want you to know that you are not alone. So many people struggle with this. It's just not their favorite thing to talk about with everyone around them, and you can overcome this and take control of your life. And that's all we had for today. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.